Good day, you guys. This is Fabio Hart coming back with another video. A little cold actually, but warming up. Obviously, have my tea. And what I want to do, I want to jump right into it. I want to talk about OShea Jackson. I was forwarded a video that he did about the one and the only E.T. Eric Thomas, the hip hop preacher. And this is a bit of a rebuttal towards what he had to say. Now, in all honesty, O'Shea, I did not listen to your entire video because you seem kind of upset, seem kind of mad, and I think you had some valid points, but I can't say I entirely agree with what you said. Okay. Number one, you said successful people don't need any strangers or anyone that they don't know telling them they need to be successful. They just get up and do it. Well, I'm sorry to tell you, O'Shea, that every successful people, black, white, or otherwise, don't necessarily have that inner drive within themselves to get up and go and do what it is they want to do. Okay? Now, whether it comes from a stranger or it comes from a friend or it comes from maybe a family member, you know, and let's take the Hiltons, or let's take the Waltons, you know, Sam Walton, Walmart, these guys, right? The Rockefellers, right? No matter how rich they are, the stem for being successful come from somewhere. They don't necessarily have, to be honest, O'Shea, some of the richest people in the world, your richest people, were high school dropouts, college dropouts, and did not necessarily have that drive within themselves to want to even do school or even do their business. Right? So they had mentors or had people in their ear telling them to go for it. They surround themselves around people that was either A, doing what it was that they wanted to do, or B, had such an impact or influence on them to do what it is they wanted to do. Right? So I disagree with you there. You know, I have a commercial cleaning business and I like to think that I'm pretty successful in my own right. Right? But I have mentors on various levels. I don't just have mentors that does commercial cleaning. I have mentors in different areas, right? Different areas of expertise, right? So I think that your the logic behind what you're saying, it really has no substance. You sound pretty bitter that Eric Thomas became successful being Eric Thomas. Now, I would agree that when you say his audience is probably predominantly African American, I don't know the ratio of that to be true, but I will say he have a large African American demographic group, probably based on his name, the hip hop preacher, and how he deliver his message. You know, African American people can identify with it because from the way he dressed, he doesn't dress like a Tony Robbins. He doesn't dress like a Les Brown or some of these other guys, right? Which is nothing wrong with those guys. I listen to them all. However, the way that he impact the audience is different than everybody that I just named, right? Now, I hear Eric Thomas had good critics and bad critics, just like anybody else. I hear a lot of people say, I don't like the guy. And when you ask them why you don't like the guy, they don't like the guy because of his delivery, not necessarily because of what he's saying or because of him. He comes off as being hip-hop-ish, right? He has the Detroit hat. He has a T-shirt, most likely with his own paraphernalia. You know, he has his own jeans and just probably regular sneakers. And he's becoming fabulously rich off of giving his motivational speeches on Thank God It's Monday, or going to the schools or going to the churches or going to wherever he go to deliver his message. So a lot of people can identify with that because they say, well, you know, Les Brown don't do that, or You know, Tony Robbins don't do that, or you know, whoever, Deepak Chopra, or whoever else is out here in the world. You know, these guys have on suits and they power ties and they're ready to go, right? But what he has done, Eric Thomas has carved out his own niche. He carved out his own niche within the demographic group that he wanted to target at the time. That being said, it has compounded itself because 95% of the people that hire Eric Thomas aren't black people. It's multi-million and billion-dollar organizations like the Detroit Tigers franchise, right? Maybe Nike, right? So all of these big corporations are the corporations that's generally hiring him, that's feeding his bank account. And I'm sure his fees of making $20,000 is probably much higher than $20,000. Maybe that's what it was back in the day, but I'm sure on the good day, he might tax you $20,000 just to, that's like a discount. But I'm sure he's probably making more than $20,000 a speech. Because the speeches that he does now isn't like any speech that he did back in the day. In terms of where he started, he's built a brand now, so he's able to charge more because people can identify with what it is he does and what it is he says. So, OShea, I think you probably need to do some self-evaluation yourself, but because you seem quite bitter because this man, you know, dressed the way he dressed and he exert the way he exert within his speeches, and you feel some type of way because, I don't know, maybe you can't do that, maybe you don't have the goals, you don't have the drive, you don't have the determination. I don't know you, bud. I don't know what it is you do, right? You can be successful in your own right, but to dog him out because you don't understand what it is he does, because clearly you don't. You don't understand that repetition has a lot to do with being successful. Repetition, right? For an example, Burger King, they advertise the big Whopper or whatever the case is, right? You don't necessarily go and get that Whopper the first time that they advertise it. But as they continue to advertise it, they might catch you on a day where you got a taste for that Whopper. So what do? You get your clothes on, you get in your car, you go out and you go get that Whopper. You want to try it. They threw a different sauce on it, or they added a different bacon on it, or they did something different to the sandwich to make it attractive that's different than a regular Whopper. That makes you go out and get it. But you didn't go out and get it the first time that they advertised it. Same thing with the Nike shoes. They advertise this Nike for months in and months out. You might like Nike, but you didn't go out and get that Nike shoe the first time that they advertised it. But doing repetition and keeping it in your face and keeping it in front of you, eventually you went out and bought it. Now, that's how it is. So when he carved his message out, you don't know that he's helping people because you don't know. It seems like you don't know anything about his demographic right now. His demographic group is totally different than what it was maybe 5 years ago or 6 years ago, whatever it is when he first started. Of course, he had to get his feet wet, so he had to do some things differently back then to become who he is today. But like I said, man, I mean, I could go on for probably the next 10, 15 minutes discussing this topic. I didn't want to really go too long in this, but I think you have to look deeper within yourself and just worry about OShea Jackson, right? Because as long as you focus on what you do and how you can contribute, then what that man doing shouldn't even bother you. If he don't motivate you, if he's not for you, great. I'm sure he will be okay with that, right? Everything isn't for everybody. But don't try to manipulate the audience because you have the same resources that I have in terms of turning your camera on, getting in front of it, and uploading the video. You trying to manipulate his audience, or you trying to, what we call hate in the hood, throw shade to try to keep that man from feeding his family. Inevitably, people are going to agree. Some people are going to agree with you. You know, just like the Obama. When Obama was elected in office, I was for him. I said, hey, he's talking great. He's going to do good. But then Obama get in there. He didn't do what I expected him to do. He didn't do what I thought he would do. Right? So I'm no longer an Obama supporter. Now, I don't think Obama is bad, but I'm not going to get to hating on what the man did or didn't do. I'm just no longer a supporter. So if I'm no longer a supporter, then don't support. But there's no need to hate because of what he didn't do or what he did do. Right? So, OShea, I hope this video find you, bud. You'd be more than willing to call me at my office, 1-888-770-8076. I talk to anybody and everybody. Or you can email me at bookfabiohart@gmail.com. I'm Fabio Hart from Hollywood Janitorial Services. The only person that can ever stop you from starting up your own dreams and making it to the top is you. Take care.